Hello everyone, I am Dr. Sharad Kumar, Assistant Professor, Department of Wildlife Sciences, Aligarh University, Aligarh. Under the anthropogenic pressures, our environment is degrading continuously, which is posing challenge to well-being of humans and other living organisms. Having understanding of the gravity of the issue, its causes and impact is necessary to design and implement the measures to control the environmental degradation. In this lecture, I shall be discussing the causes of environmental degradation. So let's first understand what is environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is the degradation of our environment caused by degradation of natural resources such as forest, air, water, and soil, destruction of habitats and ecosystem, and the extinction of wildlife species. It is defined as any change or disturbance to the environment perceived to be deleterious or undesirable. Environmental degradation is a global issue that affects all of us. It is caused by various factors ranging from human activities to natural calamities, and its effect make the earth unsuitable for living. Causes of environmental degradation. Causes of environmental degradation can be natural or anthropogenic. The natural causes includes flood, droughts, rising temperature, melting of glaciers, fires, etc. While anthropogenic causes includes urbanization, industrialization, overexploitation of resources, overpopulation growth, environmental pollution, poverty, global warming, climate change, soil erosion, deforestation, etc. Let's discuss first the natural causes. Natural causes. Calamities like avalanches, earthquakes, tidal waves, tsunamis, storms, and forest fires cause in the degradation of quality of the environment, and it leads to the destruction of biodiversity and wildlife habitats. So finally, it leads to the degradation of the environment. But these environmental causes has very little impact on the environment, but the anthropogenic causes have very high impact on the environment. So let's discuss the anthropogenic causes in details. The rapid population growth is leading to environment degradation through putting intense pressure on natural resources. Industrialization, urbanization, expansion and intensification of agriculture and destruction of natural habitats. More people means an increased demand for food, water, housing, energy, healthcare, transportation, and more. And all that consumption contribute to ecological degradation, increased conflict, and a higher risk of large-scale disasters like pandemic, as our planet can only produce limited amount of food and other natural resources. Rapid population growth contribute to higher waste production, including sewage, pollution, and carbon emissions. This can result in air and water pollution, deforestation, and faster depletion of natural habitat, leading to biodiversity loss. If you take the case of India, it supports 17% of world population on just 2.4% of the world land area. So our ecosystems are under the pressure of growing human population, which is leading to environmental degradation. Unplanned urbanization. You may have noticed a large number of people from villages moving to towns, cities, and megacities to earn their livelihood. This has led to unplanned and rapid expansion of cities, which is creating enormous pressure on the infrastructural facilities of urban areas. Unplanned and uncontrolled urbanization is causing environmental degradation and give rise to various problems like overcrowding and congestion, lack of safe drinking water, shortage of houses, land insecurity, air pollution, noise pollution, dust and heat, problem of disposal of waste, etc., which causes serious health problems. Poor air and water quality, insufficient water availability, Waste disposal problems and high energy consumptions are exaggerated by the increasing population density and demand of urban environments. Improper land use changes. Unsustainable conversion of land into urban settings, mining areas, housing development projects such as office spaces, shopping malls, industrial sites, parking areas, road networks, and so on leads to environmental pollution and degradation of natural habitat and ecosystem. Mining and oil exploration, for instance, renders land unusable for habitation and cause other forms of environmental degradation by releasing toxic material into the environment. Improper land use has led to loss and destruction of millions of acres of natural environment across the globe and emerges as one of the leading causes of environmental degradation. Poverty. Poverty is one of the major causes of environmental degradation. Poor people lack the resources for social securities and often experience hunger and food insecurity. This promotes the overexploitation of natural resources by poor people. For example, people living close to forest areas consider forests as a means to alleviate their poverty and involve in illegal cutting of trees and poaching of wild animals. People are extracting large amount of fuel wood from the forest to sell it in market or to convert it into charcoal and sell it in market to earn money. Poverty also forced people to encroach on forest land and to convert it into agricultural field and the place for houses. This can lead to habitat degradation, destruction, air pollution, disruption of food chain, and other unsustainable practices that have a negative impact on the environment. In addition to this, poor people lack resources to invest in technologies and equipment required to implement sustainable practices such as drip irrigation, utilization of LPG instead of fuel wood. They may not have access to education about environmental issues and suffering with lack of connectivity with nature. They may also be more likely to engage in activities that are harmful to the environment, such as setting fire in forest and dumping waste in water bodies. So we can conclude that poverty is leading to the degradation of our environment. Changing lifestyle. There has been a remarkable change in the living style of people with the passage of time. This change is visible not only among the people living in cities and towns, but also among those who live in villages. The changing lifestyle of people has enormously increased their level of consumption. It has also resulted in the increase of human activities that are causing serious damage to environment in many ways. It has contributed to air, water, sound, vehicular, and industrial pollution. The fallout of the fast increasing use of modern gadgets like refrigerator and air conditioner is increasing the release of harmful gases in the atmosphere. This has been causing global warming, which is very dangerous. In fact, due to overuse of modern gadgets, harmful gases like carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide are released, which leads to global warming. So, changing lifestyle is leading to environmental degradation. Industrialization. Rapid industrialization has been the foremost contributor to environment degradation. Most of the industries place a heavy load on environment. The use of various modern technologies in industries lead to intensive use of resources and energy. The current pace of industrialization, therefore, is resulting in the depletion of natural resources like fossil fuels, minerals, and timber, and contamination of water, air, and land with the various pollutants. All these are causing immense damage to ecosystem and leading to health hazards. Deforestation. Deforestation is the bringing of forest land under the other uses of humans. It emerges as one of the major causes of environmental degradation because it leads to disruption of ecological balance and geochemical cycles, reduces biodiversity and contribute to global warming and climate change. Forest lands are converting into agricultural fields, roads, human settlements, industries, and dams. It is reducing the area under the forest. Forests are not only providing oxygen and absorbing carbon dioxide, they also contribute in maintaining water flow, help in retaining water, and sustaining forest life by providing nutrients to soil. Deforestation leads to barren land that is more vulnerable to erosion by rain and wind. It also contributes to global warming and climate change by releasing carbon stored in the trees and by reducing the carbon sequestration capacity. All these factors have lasting impact on the environment and leads to environment degradation. Forest fires. Forest fires emerge as one of the severe causes of environmental degradation. Most of the forest fires are caused by humans intentionally or unintentionally. People clear forest floor through burning surface vegetation before onset of collection of mahua in the central India. Local people also burn grassland to promote new suits palatable to cattle. People also set up forest fire in revenge with forest department and to drag away the conflicting species from their areas. The unintentional throwing of butts of cigarette or bidis or leaving of fire after cooking in the forest areas also leads to unintentional human-led forest fires and it causes the environmental degradation due to disturbing the various ecosystems of the forested areas. After forest fire, the soil's capacity to absorb water is significantly compromised, which leads to flooding in the area during rainy season. Watersheds may retain higher level of nitrogen and dissolved carbon dioxide for a very long period, reducing drinking water quality within surrounding communities. Various studies suggested that wildlife pollutants in water bodies also suppress wildlife immunity, making animal more susceptible to disease, declining health, and higher mortality. In addition to this, increased level of nitrogen and phosphorus from burnt vegetation in water bodies cause harmful algae blooms. Eating shellfish contaminated with toxic algae could result in paralytic or even death, while other people may experience severe vomiting, seizures, or diarrhea. Forest fires leads to death of many plant and animal species which disturb the ecosystem balance. The loss of forest cover can significantly alter an ecosystem by increasing erosion, reducing nutrient availability in the soil, and posing a heightened risk of disease and pest infestations. In turn, these may prolong regrowth or impact what grows in the area affected by the forest fire. Additionally, vegetation that once served as a habitat may threaten wildlife survivability. Forest fires kill insects and impact essential ecosystem functions such as nutrient cycling and pollination. Forest fire release large amount of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere and destruction of forest vegetation in forest fire reduce carbon sequestration by forest plants. It contributes significantly in global warming and climate change. So, by looking on these factors, we can conclude that forest fires are very, very drastic challenge for the conservation of the environment, and they are leading to the degradation of the environment. Climate change. Climate change is a major contributor to environmental degradation because it can cause soil erosion, which is the process of bearing away the land surface by the action of natural forces such as wind, water, and ice. Climate change can cause an increase in the intensity and frequency of storms. This can be especially damaging in areas that are already prone to soil erosion due to their topography or land use. Additionally, climate change can cause an increase in the intensity and frequency of floods. Flood can carry away large amount of sediments, which is then deposited elsewhere, leading to change in the landscape. Furthermore, climate change can cause an increase in the intensity and frequency of drought, which can lead to soil erosion due to wind and water. In other cases, climate change can create longer period of drought, which result in insufficient plant growth and have negative impact on reproductive success of the plants. In total, we can say that climate change is leading to the degradation of the environment. Soil damage. Soil erosion can have serious consequences for the environment as it can lead to decrease in soil fertility, an increase in sedimentation in waterways, and an increase in the risk of flooding. In addition, soil erosion can lead to the loss of valuable topsoil, which is essential for plant growth and food production. Soil erosion can also contribute to environmental degradation in other ways. Soil erosion can lead to increased air pollution as the dust particles are carried away by wind and deposited in other areas. Finally, soil erosion can lead to a decrease in biodiversity as it can reduce the amount of habitat available for plants and animals. All of these effects can have serious consequences for the environment and should be taken into consideration when developing land management strategies to ensure the long-term conservation of the environment. Explode of fireworks. Fireworks are used to entertain the crowd during the celebration festivals, big holidays, and birthdays at the cost of environment degradation. Fireworks contain a black powder, which is known as the gunpowder, which has a mixture of 75% potassium nitrate, 15% charcoal, and 10% of sulfur. Exploding of fireworks release many toxins and some of them can stay in the environment for decades. They release variety of contaminant that affect air quality and can contribute to climate change, increase level of carbon dioxide, carbon monoxide, nitrogen, sulfur dioxide, and particulate matter. The presence of toxin in air leads to poisoning of air. On reaching in our water bodies, they pollute our water bodies. So, fireworks are significantly having impact on our environment and causing environmental degradation. Landfills. Landfills pose a great risk to the health of the environment and the people who live close to them. The most pressing environmental concern regarding landfill is their release of methane gas. As organic mass in landfill decompose, methane gas is released. Methane gas is 84 times more effective at absorbing the sun heat than carbon dioxide, making it one of the most potent greenhouse gas and a huge contributor to climate change and global warming. Along with methane, landfills also produce carbon dioxide and water vapor and trace amount of oxygen, nitrogen, hydrogen, and non-methane organic compound. These gases can also contribute to global warming and climate change. and create smoke if left uncontrolled. Most of the landfills are created on natural habitat, which is leading to destruction of wildlife habitat and leading to decrease in the availability of the areas for the wild animals. Leachate, a liquid produced by landfill sites containing nearby water bodies, sources, further damaging ecosystem. Leachate can contain high level of ammonia. When ammonia makes its way into the ecosystem, it is nitrified to produce nitrate. This nitrate can then cause eutrophication or lack of oxygen due to increased growth of plant life in nearby water sources. Eutrophication creates dead zones where animal cannot survive due to the lack of oxygen. Along with ammonia, leachate contain toxins such as mercury due to the presence of hazardous material in landfills. Emissions from landfills pose a great threat to the health of those who live and work around the landfills. Landfills being hazards such as odor, smoke, noise, bugs, and water supply contamination. So, landfills are significantly causing environmental degradation. Intensification of agriculture. Farmers are now using various non-environment friendly farming methods like intensive irrigation, high use of chemical fertilizer and pesticides. Because of these methods of agriculture intensification, there has been an adverse impact on the environment which causes soil erosion, loss of fertility, and land salivation. Intensive irrigation leads to desertification and decrease in groundwater level as farmers are pumping more and more water to irrigate their crops. So, intensification of agriculture is leading to the environmental degradation. Invasion by alien species. Invasive alien species are animals, plants, fungi, and microorganisms that have entered and established themselves in the environment outside their natural habitat. Invasive alien species have devastating impact on native plants and animal life, causing the decline or even extinction of native species and negatively affecting the ecosystems. For example, lantana is having negative impact on forest ecosystems all over the India, and it is leading to the degradation of habitat all over the India. The global economy with increased transports of goods and travel has facilitated the introduction of alien species over long distances and beyond natural boundaries. The negative effect of these species on biodiversity can be intensified by climate change, habitat destruction, and pollution. So, invasion by alien species is leading to environmental degradation and need to be controlled. Pattern of economic growth. Another major cause of damage to the natural environment is the pattern of economic growth. Besides contaminating water, land, and air resources, natural resources are depleting because people are now giving more emphasis on the development of basic and capital goods, industries, and the technologies used for their development. These developments are also damaging the ecosystem of the country, and they are also having the negative impact on the biodiversity values found in a particular countries. So we can conclude that the current pattern of economic growth is leading to the environmental degradation. Impacts of environmental degradation. Environmental degradation is having impact both on humans and the environment. So let's first discuss the impact on human health. The greatest effect on human health of individuals and population result from environmental degradation, human health might be at the receiving end as a result of the environmental degradation. Areas exposed to toxic air pollutants can cause respiratory problems like pneumonia and asthma. Millions of people are known to have died of due to the indirect effect of air pollution. The main factor account to urban air quality deterioration are growing industrialization and increasing vehicular pollution, industrial emissions, automobile exhaust, and the burning of fossil fuels. Air pollution kills the thousands and many more to suffer many mainly from respiratory damage, heart and lung diseases. In rural areas, nitrates from animal waste and chemical fertilizers pollute the soil and water. And in the cities, the air is contaminated with lead from the vehicle exhaust. Loss of biodiversity. Biodiversity is important for maintaining ecosystem balance in the form of combating pollution, restoring nutrients, protecting water resources, and stabilizing climate. The main cause of loss of biodiversity are deforestation, global warming, overpopulation, and pollution. In fact, human beings have deeply altered the environment and have modified the territory, exploiting the species directly, for example, by fishing and hunting, changing the biogeochemical cycles, and transforming species from one area to another. Environmental degradation also leading to degradation of wildlife habitat and pushing vulnerable species towards extinction, and finally leading to the loss of biodiversity. Ozone layer depletion. Ozone layer is responsible for protecting Earth from harmful ultraviolet rays. The most important reason for ozone layer depletion is the production and emission of chlorofluorocarbons. This is what which leads to almost 80% of the total ozone layer depletion. There are many other substances that led to ozone layer depletion, such as hydrochlorofluorocarbons and volatile organic compounds. Such substances are found in vehicular emissions by product of industrial processes, aerosols, and refrigerants. All these ozone depleting substances remain stable in the lower atmospheric region, but as they reach in the stratosphere, they get exposed to ultraviolet rays. This leads to their breakdown and releasing of free chlorine atoms which react with the ozone gas, thus leading to the depletion of ozone layer. Poverty. Poverty is both cause and consequence of environmental degradation. In the majorities of developing countries, poverty is attributed to poor crop harvest and lack of quality natural resources that are needed to satisfy basic survival needs. The inadequacy of basic survival resources and lack of quality food is the direct result of environmental degradation in the regions. Most vulnerability situations brought about by water shortage, climate change, and poor crop yield in developing countries are tied to environmental degradation. Hence, the lack of access to adequate basic needs such as water and food directly induce poverty. Scarcity of natural resources. Environmental degradation through overexploitation of natural resources, pollution, and deforestation can contribute to the scarcity of resources, particularly arable lands, water, genetic resources, medicinal plant, and food crops. Economic loss for the tourism industries. The degradation of the natural environment can an enormous loss for the tourism industries, which depend on tourists for a living. Most visitors are turned off by environmental harm such as loss of greenery, loss of species, massive landfills, and increased air and water pollution. Economic implications. The enormous costs that a nation may have to bear as a result of environmental deterioration can have a substantial economic effect in terms of green cover restoration, waste cleanup, and endangered species protection. The economic impact could also include the loss of tourism sectors. Thank you.